Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where travelers are one stop away from world destinations. Connections on Delta Airlines to Atlanta are available daily. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
McLean County is home to several trucking companies, and it's a tough time for the industry. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Thursday, September 25th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with one of Illinois' leading industries needing help, as their part of the economy is not doing so well. More from WGLT's Eric Stock.
Truckers make all the other industries go, but things aren't going so well in their industry. The Great Freight Recession started 3 years ago, and it's not over yet. Matthew Hart is executive director of the Illinois Trucking Association. The trade group is hosting its annual meeting in Normal this week.
Anytime the economy is not doing well, we're not doing well. And right now we're seeing some slowdowns in certain segments. We'd like to see the economy pick up in other places. We'd like to see manufacturing pick up a little bit more.
And Hart says that's putting strain on an industry with long hours and low profit margins.
We're talking about how to really run your trucking company in a time where maybe your expenses are going up faster than your revenues are.
One way the trucking industry could look to cut its costs is through driverless trucks.
We're very early on in stages of using AI in the trucking industry, but we also think AI can be a great place for us to run safer trucking companies out there, and that's what we're really excited about as well.
And Hart says another way the trucking industry could be safer is by hiring more female drivers.
Statistics have shown that us men, we like to take risks. And overall, again, statistically, females usually don't take as many risks as their male counterparts, and that kind of shows in the safety data.
Women make up less than 10% of the trucking workforce. It's an industry that's about 80,000 drivers short. With the reporting from WGLT correspondent Paul J. Aguilar, I'm Eric Stock.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Authorities say a 24-year-old Bloomington woman, Jessica Wimp, died after she crashed her car into a tree and a residence in Bloomington this week. It happened in the 400 block of West Graham Street. Central Illinois Regional Airport has won a $12.5 million grant from the FAA to fund the first phase of a runway rehab project. The shorter of CIRA's 2 runways will get new lights, signs, and safety enhancements. And the Illinois Supreme Court has ordered former GOP Attorney General nominee Tom DeVore's law license suspended for 60 days. A state disciplinary panel says he broke the rules during his relationship with a client-turned-girlfriend. You can find more in these stories at WGLT.org. Every generation has their own unique lived experience that shapes how they communicate, which would be fine except that you probably live with or work with someone way older or way younger than you are. University of Illinois Extension Family Life educator Sarah Addig is here to help. She'll be leading a program next month at the Carlock Public Library to demystify the generational gap, especially around communication. The Gen Xer says the first step is to resist that temptation to generalize.
It can seem very polarizing, but we really want to focus on understanding the different generations without being stereotypical and understanding how we can really thrive by understanding the strengths that each generation brings.
Yeah, sometimes it is portrayed as sort of a joke, like these generational differences in terms of how we communicate and speak. Like the ones I think of a couple of years ago, my kids started saying sus, as in suspicious, and I was like, oh, okay, now I have to know that. But are there times where these sort of like intergenerational communication differences can be a more serious thing, not just like something to joke about and have a little fun with, but actually like a kind of a problem to deal with?
There definitely can be different situations of beyond just understanding what the terminology means, because we've all had, just like the title of the presentation is, groovy, rad, dope, and lit. Every generation has a different change in what we call things. So while that's a general, very light example, I think we can also bring that to the workplace, because we're in a situation now with multi-generational employees working together, and there really can be some tension in terms of those what we've gathered in terms of stereotypical responses, such as the baby boomers might not be as respected, or people thinking that they are only holding on to older ideas versus being able to see the fact that they have experience and a different perspective and really want to focus on maybe the longevity of the business or the organization. And at the same time, flipping the switch to the younger generations, seeing that they may not have a background or feel, and I know this is thrown around quite often, the sense of entitlement, for instance. And those can be very dangerous ideas going both ways.
Why should we avoid that, and how do we avoid that?
The focus is really on looking at various generations and understanding how they can bring something very valuable to our world. And also not stereotyping, because we bring in so much more of our identity than just our generation. We have our gender, we have our family background, our different experiences that make up our entire being. So we don't want to generalize of attitudes, behaviors, strictly by when they're born.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the workplace function a few times. Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic right now with, you do even have some older or younger baby boomers, maybe at the very, very tail end of their career, who might be in like an office setting or a quasi-office setting with an older Gen Z person, who's just gotten their first job. And it's sort of fascinating how that's playing out.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And I think there can be some opportunities for miscommunication and misunderstanding based on generational differences, but it also opens up the opportunity for really growth and strength in the organization, to be able to have different viewpoints, different backgrounds, and focusing on the strengths that all of those different working generations can bring, and not isolating based on those differences.
That's University of Illinois Extension Family Life Educator Sarah Attic. She'll lead a program called Groovy, Rad, Dope, or Lit, Staying Cool Across the Generations. That's at 1:30, October 15th at the Carlock Public Library. You can listen to the rest of this interview at WGLT.org. And before we let you go, Bloomington's Special Commission for Safe Communities, a.k.a. the Gun Violence Commission, that meets today at 1 o'clock at the library. On the agenda is a discussion about a draft report for the City Council. And that is it for today. I'm Ryan Denham, and the show is produced by Cheyenne Brown. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.